Good afternoon and welcome to another TUG Connects 365 webinar today. I'm Gloria Nelson, your host with TUG. And as you settle in and get ready for the start of today's webinar, let me give a brief introduction for TUG, the usergroup.org for both our current members and those of you who represent organizations that have not yet joined our online community of INFOR distribution software users. Now, we've all heard the phrase that knowledge is power, and I can say with the utmost confidence that after today's presentation, you'll be waking up tomorrow with a wee bit more of both. TUG webinars, online forums, and member events facilitate the timely exchange of ideas and information to help you work smarter and with more confidence, and that is a powerful combination. And a heads up, TUG Connects 2021 virtual conference registration is now live, so head on over after today's webinar and register for the event. We want to see you there. If you're currently a member, it pays to get even more involved. And if you're not, please visit our website to discover why 2,300 heads are better than one to help you be the best at what you do every day. Before we get started, I want to say thank you to EnlightenNet. They have given us graciously IP permissions. You can go ahead and screen capture and copy and paste any chat that you have need for. Take a moment, please. Open your Q&A bubble. Get ready for TUG Connects. Open your Q&A bubble. This is where you're going to post your questions. And also, if you have a burning desire to have the same question answered, if you simply like it, and when we have more than a couple questions populated, it will literally upvote it and push your question all the way to the top of that ordering. And also open chat. We want to connect with you there as well. We've got about 35 minutes for you to buckle in, and we want to make sure that you get any and all questions answered in our time allotted. So whichever comes first, the expiration of any additional questions or the top of the hour, we will be making sure that you walk away with all the information that you need. So now it is our pleasure to introduce Jerome Lavalley, who is president, and Ellen Richards, vice president of sales for Enlighten.net. And as they share their ENet Docs and AP automation services they offer to make your workday much easier every day. So Ellen, I'm going to go ahead and turn things over to you if you want to get started.
Thank you, Gloria. Thank you, Gloria. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for your time today and your interest in ENet Docs and AP automation. I'm Ellen Richard, and I'm joined today by Jerome Lavalley. And today, we're going to show you how ENet Docs integrates Trapeze for invoice processing to provide INFOR users with an affordable and comprehensive automated program. I'm going to show you how you can cut down on data entry, eliminate errors, and speed up your invoice processing time. A quick bit about us. For over 17 years, EnlightenNet has been a trusted partner to manufacturers and distributors across North America. Our software enables companies to become more productive and profitable by improving control of business documents, automating workflows, and eliminating the reliance on paper records. If there's one thing that the past year has taught us all, it's that companies must be nimble and quickly adjust during a time of business disruption, both for survival and long-term health of the company. A staff that is able to continue productivity levels when displaced from an office is crucial, whether due to the current situation like the pandemic, a weather situation, or something else. Industry experts say if there was ever a specific time to reallocate resources toward business technology, this is it, especially towards projects that improve productivity. One of the easiest and most cost-effective ways to continue as well as improve productivity is to take your company paperless and automate as many manual processes as possible for faster processing and turnaround time. Paperless offices can process a much larger volume of paperwork compared to traditional offices in the same amount of time. And with a web-based document management system like ENet Docs, employees can access data from any device with an internet connection, giving your workplace flexibility, improved productivity, increased speed, and better communication. And companies that implement ENet Docs achieve measurable ROI in a matter of weeks. Now, our approach to document management is really holistic. We manage the invoices that you're going to be running through your AP process, as well as all of the supporting documents. All of those documents that you deal with on a day-to-day basis that are business critical. All of the documents are published into ENet Docs through standard publishing methods: print, scan, fax, drag and drop, or email. All documents, regardless of how they come into ENet Docs, are automatically converted into fully searchable PDFs. We're indexing all of the text on the PDF, which then gives you the ability to bring back any document instantly by any text that's in the document. So all documents are immediately routed to their correct destination, securely stored, and accessible to permitted users from any location.
We're going to take a couple of poll questions this afternoon. So we have some questions we'd like to ask you. Our first poll question is, what is your current method of managing documents? Are you using filing cabinets, a network share, a homegrown document management system, or a commercial document management system? Please click your response and let us know so we can tailor our presentation to your needs.
Do we have some responses coming in?
Let's see, and for responses, we have about 60% of the audience is still using filing cabinets, and then it's evenly split between a network share or commercial document management systems.
Okay.
So there's a lot of room for about 60% of you to improve your processes dramatically.
That's great. Thanks for sharing with us. So let's talk about accounts payable. Accounts payable is a critical part of any business. It's very paper intensive, and invoice matching is key, but it's a very tedious process when done manually. During the invoice approval process, clerks need to accurately verify line items against a PO to avoid paying any incorrect amounts. Human error in data entry is common among nearly every AP department. AP clerks often perform 2- and 3-way matching using a stare and compare method to verify invoices. When this process is repeated hundreds of times a day, even the most careful human eye lacks the ability to guarantee accuracy. And as a company scales, the problems only get worse with the volume of paperwork. Accounts payable departments are often understaffed, leading to hours of data entry. Now, industry experts say the cost of manually handling an invoice from start to finish is estimated to cost between $30 to $50 per invoice. Automated invoice processing can bring the cost per invoice down to just a few dollars an invoice. And that's a huge savings, creating a very clear ROI for the AP department.
And we're already at our second polling question. How many full-time employees do you have processing invoices? 1 or somebody part-time, 1 or less, 2 to 3, 3 to 5, or more than 5. Feel like we need Jeopardy music or something while people are answering. Okay, it looks like most people have 3 to 5. We have one company with less than 1, but most people are in that 3 to 5 range, which is what we're seeing with our customers too.
Okay, great. So if you automate your accounts payable process, it can give you tremendous advantages in terms of efficient resource allocation. An automated invoice processing system can dramatically reduce your processing time by as much as 80%, with significantly better accuracy than a human. AP managers can spend more time leveraging early payment discounts, providing controllers and CFOs with more accurate forecasting, and working to better optimize cash flow. So how did we bring AP automation into ENet Docs? Well, in 2020, we partnered with a company called SOFTWORKS AI that integrates AP automation into our software, ENet Docs, through Trapeze for invoice processing. And this collaboration has been a huge success, both for us as well as our mutual customers. And I'm going to share one of those success stories with you now. We have a customer in Dallas that has one AP clerk processing invoices on a daily basis, and this clerk would spend 8 hours, her 8-hour day, processing invoices. Some days they would need to bring in a second associate in order to keep up with the backlog. So this company could spend anywhere between 8 to 12 man hours a day processing their invoices. When they brought in Trapeze for invoice processing, they were able to cut the processing time in half, which is good. That's a very good result. However, when they brought in the ENet Docs automation server, they were able to cut that time down by an additional 60%. So they were able to reduce their processing time from 8 plus hours a day to an hour and a half. So I think that is a great result. And I think that really helps illustrate how ENet Docs and Trapeze for invoice processing combine to deliver a financial and tactical advantage and return a tremendous value for our customers. So how does it work? Well, invoices get emailed into ENet Docs either through, they come into ENet Docs either through the email or through a scan if they are coming to you through the US Postal Service. Our ENet automation server is watching the folder and will move those invoices automatically into Trapeze. Trapeze will then validate the data on each invoice against a PO that is in your INFOR ERP. Trapeze validates line by line, doing a horizontal validation as well as a vertical validation. That validated data is extracted and output in a file by Trapeze. The ENet Docs automation server is watching the Trapeze output file and will take that validated data and drop it into your ERP for import, and will also tag each invoice in ENet Docs with that validated data, along with the date and time processed. So all data from that invoice that you were previously manually keying into your ERP has now been automatically validated and can be automatically imported into your ERP, cutting down on that data entry and speeding up your processing time. So let's take a look at how it works. Let's go to ENet Docs and take a look. I'm going to walk you through the software and the process. Because we have some time constraints today, I'm not going to do a full demonstration of ENet Docs, but I'm really going to focus on the AP process and the automated invoice processing. And I encourage you to reach out individually so we can talk about your company needs and how we can help. So what you're looking at is a folder in ENet Docs that contain the new invoices. These new invoices have come into ENet Docs either through the email or a scan. As the AP manager, I can have a notification that tells me when invoices come in here. I can determine how often I want to be alerted. Do I want to be alerted immediately or at a specific time period every day? At 2 o'clock, I want an email alert telling me I have 15 invoices that need to process, or an overnight alert so that I have an email telling me I've got 50 invoices that I need to deal with. Now, different companies have different approaches to how they process their invoices. Some of our customers want hands-off, and they don't want to look at any invoices before they're automatically moved into Trapeze for validation and processing. They don't want to look at anything. They only want to manage and look at the exceptions. Other customers want the opportunity to look at each invoice before it moves into Trapeze. Maybe they want to double check on a receipt to make sure that the goods have been received before they process. Or maybe they want to ensure that it's only PO-based invoices that are flowing through this workflow. Their expense-based invoices are flowing through a different workflow. Or maybe those expense invoices are requiring an executive approval. Other customers start out the process where they're doing that in the beginning, looking at the invoices and double checking before it moves into Trapeze until they gain trust and confidence with the software and the new validation process. The good news is, whichever way works for you and your company will work. We're very flexible, as is the software, and you can always update workflows as your comfort level or processes change. For today's webinar, I'm going to manually move these invoices into a folder that says Trapeze so you can see what happens. It's difficult to demonstrate automation since the whole point is that it's happening behind the scenes and you don't have to watch or touch anything. So in this folder of new invoices, I can view my invoices in either a table view, as you see here, or I can view them in a card view, as you see here. And the card view allows me to look at each invoice before I move them into Trapeze. Maybe I want to check an invoice for a receipt. So I have the ability to do that by, I can open up a new search here and I can type in this PO number 4854442 and pull up the receiving paperwork. And I can open that up in a new tab. And then the nice thing about ENet Docs is that it allows you have the ability to pull back or retrieve all of the documents that are related to a particular transaction with one single search. So here I can see the packing list as well as the new invoice. If I click on one document, the following actions become available to me. I can view it, I can edit it, I can move it, or I can email it. I'm going to click on the invoice. Once I click on a second document, additional actions become available to me. I can compare or merge. I'm going to hit compare. And ENet Docs allows you to compare up to 3 documents side by side, which is a great thing for our customers because you can check receiving documents against invoices, against POs, etc. So here I can see, yes, in fact, I did receive this. It's been signed off by the warehouse manager. So I'm going to go ahead and process these invoices. Now, moving documents, there are a number of ways to move documents in ENet Docs. I can move them one by one, working my way through them like I'm working through a stack of documents. I'm working through a stack of paper that I've got in front of me, or you can move them all at once. I'm actually going to move them all at once. I'm going to select all of the documents and I'm going to do a mass move into Trapeze. Click here, enter in Trapeze. The software will always tell you whether documents are okay to move, whether you have permission to move these documents, or if they were tied up in another workflow, they would not be able to move into Trapeze. Now, what's happening behind the scenes that you are not seeing is the ENet automation server is watching that Trapeze folder for processing. It passed the invoices into Trapeze. Trapeze OCRs the invoices, extracts and validates key data based on a PO lookup. Trapeze is validating the purchase order number, each line item on the PO, quantity, the unit price, the extension of the quantity times the cost against the PO. It does both a horizontal line by line validation as well as a vertical validation, totaling the invoice, including tax and freight charges. If there are discounts, it will record the discount. If there are tracking numbers, it will pick those up accurately. If there are multiple pages to the invoice, Trapeze will automatically split up the pages and verifies every page of the invoice. And you can set up business rules for any nuances in your individual business, maybe to allow for tolerances or variances that you might accept, or to accommodate for more complex pricing. Once all the data on those invoices have been validated against the PO, Trapeze outputs that validated data into a file. The ENet automation server is monitoring that file and will send that data to your ERP to be imported and tags the invoices in ENet Docs automatically, as you can see here with that validated data. And then the invoices were moved into a process complete folder or invoice entered folder that you can see here. So, and you can see that these invoices were tagged with the invoice number, the vendor ID number, the PO number, along with the date and the time processed. And as you saw, the ENet Docs informs the manager where the invoices are in every step of the process. You could see the invoices moving into Trapeze, you could see Trapeze processing, and then you could see them start to populate one by one as the invoices are entered and processed. And now all of that data is imported into your ERP, accurately validated, and all of that manual keying has been eliminated. Now might be a good time to check and see if we have any questions. Jerome, are there any questions at this point?
So one question that has come up was just, what is the accuracy you're expecting to get, or the improvement you're expecting to get out of this?
Perfect. That's a perfect segue. The goal is for 80 to 85% of your invoices to automatically flow through and be auto-validated without human intervention. And how is that achieved? Well, it's by focusing on your top vendors where you're spending most of your time. They work to achieve recognition rates by focusing on your high volume vendors. So Trapeze will request samples of invoices from your top 25 resources, and they will then we'll put those hundreds of invoices through a parser, which is the brains of the software. And through advanced machine learning, the parser is trained to recognize different types and formats of invoices. And as more invoices are processed through the parser and corrections are made or tweaks are made, the Trapeze system uses a feedback loop to learn and train for better recognition results. And Trapeze increases the accuracy of the data extraction through their auto templating, or scripting, as they call it, which is working with you to identify either nuances in your business rules, or nuances within the documents that you are receiving from these high frequency vendors to further improve the recognition rates. And some documents are going to require a human touch. They are going to require you to make a correction or two, or to double check on a validation. And the nice thing is that Trapeze actually points you in the direction of what needs to be corrected. And then with a click or two, your document is validated and off it goes. So I think you can see overall how you're able to really reduce the manual data entry, to eliminate the errors and really speed up your invoice processing time, as well as improve your control of your business documents and automate workflows, and overall eliminate the reliance on paper records, which is really a win-win for any distributor.
So I think this is a good time to do our last polling question, and then we'll open it up to some real Q&A. So my goal to implement AP automation is less than 6 months, within a year, sometime next year or in the future, or over my dead body. We do see that some people are just not ready for automation yet. So what do you guys think? And when we're done here, let's fire up some other questions and tell us what you're interested in. All right. So we're about split between within a year and sometime next year, within the next year. So nobody sees it as urgent and no one is completely anti, which I guess makes sense. If you were anti, you probably wouldn't have joined this webinar. Well, there we go. Let's open it up to your questions and get some interaction going here. So the first question is not quite about the automation piece, but about just the document management and how would ENet Docs handle my prior documents that are currently stored on my network share? That's a great question. That is a very common question. If you've been scanning documents for years and just throwing them in a network share, you can simply drop all of those, whether it's 12 or 12,000 files in, and ENet Docs will just grab them and bring them along as if they were always in there. They'll be searchable and retrievable, just like that. What else do we have for great questions? Ellen, what does the implementation time frame look like for this product?
Sure. Implementation time is roughly about 30 days from the day that you decide that you sign and you decide to move forward. So the process is obviously ENet Docs is implemented first, and then we'll install the ENet Docs automation server. Trapeze will request from you your invoices for your top 25 vendors. They'll go through the process of scripting, working with you to identify business rules and set up parameters, set any allowances or tolerances, work out more complex pricing, things like that. And it takes them about 30 days to go through the scripting process so that you get nice 80 to 85% results straight out of the box. So from beginning to end, from the day that you sign, it's just about 30 days that you're ready to roll with Trapeze.
Great, great. Thank you. Well, I don't think we have any other questions at the moment. So if you still have a question that hasn't been answered, please enter it in the chat or into the Q&A box.
I actually do have a question. You know, as a consumer of products and doing online purchasing, and not only that, but being privy to seeing some of the functionality of our ERPs, what happens when someone sends you an invoice to place an order or to send you a PO to place an order, and there's a price discrepancy in either unit or extended price? How do you guys handle that within the framework of your platform?
Sure. So the invoice would come in. It's going to validate against the purchase order that is entered into the business system, regardless of your business system. That the purchase order data is pulled out daily into Trapeze. Trapeze is going to compare that with the actual invoice. If the two don't match, it will flag it for human intervention, allowing you to either correct the invoice because it was either read incorrectly or sent to you incorrectly, or to correct the purchase order because it was, maybe entered incorrectly or pricing changed afterwards. Once those two things match, then the automation can take off again, but it will just hold it in place and be flagged for human intervention. But that's a great question.
Thanks. I don't see anything else that's populated right now, Jerome and Ellen.
Well, I think if we have no more questions, then I think that's it for today, Gloria. So we'd like to thank everyone for their time today and your interest in our software. And we look forward to working with you individually. So thank you. And thank you, Gloria.
You are most welcome. And Ellen, can I ask you, please, if you could give an audible in terms of the best way to reach out to someone in your organization for additional information?
Absolutely. You can contact me, Ellen Richard. My email address is erichard@enlighten.net. And my direct line is 860-269-8007.
Wonderful. And I am going to wrap things up here very quickly. First of all, I want to thank everyone that has joined us today. And also Ellen and Richard, thank you so much. For those of you that might not know, Enlighten is a new sponsor with TUG this year, and we want to make Ellen and Richard feel extremely welcome to our group of TUG users. And just a quick reminder, if you still have any additional questions or wish to continue the dialogue, please make sure you jump over to the exclusive TUG membership only forums and continue that conversation there. Jerome and Ellen will be monitoring that as well on the boards should you have any questions for them. Now, also mark your calendars and watch your inbox along with community boards to register for Friday's presentation with Andy Weith. He's going to be doing a presentation in thought leadership on analysis paralysis. Where do we go next? And Andy is always great to listen to. Now, the TUG Connects 2021 registration is live, as I had previously shared, so make sure you hop over and register. And for those of you who are not yet members, I always say, why not? It's the best deal going because it's a company membership, and you can sign up as many people from your organization as you would like that would benefit from all of the different aspects of the Infor platforms. So make sure that you join us today if you're not currently a member. And as they say in Hollywood, that's a wrap.